Alright, so welcome back to the channel, guys. It is me, 8744. And as you can see, guys, I do got a new haircut, guys. So it's nice to have a haircut, guys. I love short hair, guys. Short hair is just so much more easier to manage than long hair. So, yeah, like I said, guys, how are you guys enjoy my new cut? Let me know in the comments below how you guys enjoy. So, anyways, without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about this tier list. So, we're going to basically be discussing about the best transfers that have taken place in the month of January. I've come up with like around 12 players, I think. I know there's some players I haven't mentioned that are going to be mentioned in this video. Obviously, I can't include everyone, so there's going to be some players missing out. So I'm sure there probably is. So let me know in the comments below if there's any players that should have been in this list that didn't make it. And without further ado, let's go to get started. So we have the tier set up very simply. We have the best, we have great, and then good. So let's just go in chronological order. Let's just start with Kvaratskhelia. Now, Kvaratskhelia for me to PSG is an amazing, it's a good signing. It's a great signing because we all know the quality he has. And for me, obviously, he was integral for Napoli to win the Serie A. He was obviously one of Napoli's most important players, and him and Osimhen were fantastic. They were amazing. And obviously, Kvaratskhelia, he kind of left PSG, I'm sorry, left Napoli because he wasn't really getting paid as much as he should have. And so it'll be interesting to see how he does at PSG. But the problem for me with PSG is that they don't really need him. It's just a side piece because what PSG really need is they're lacking a true striker. But as we've seen recently, Dembele's been in fantastic form. So maybe Dembele will be the striker, and then you're going to have obviously Barcola on the left, and then maybe put Kvaratskhelia on the right, or maybe Kvaratskhelia on the left and Barcola on the right. The problem with that though is that I'm not sure that we don't know how good this Dembele is going to be. Is it going to be this good for the entire season, or is just like some kind of purple patch? That's the thing that remains to be seen. But we'll see when February comes around when this Champions League playoff games happen, I suppose. So for me, Kvaratskhelia, I'm going to put him in great. I think he can be a really good player. I can't put him in the best because I don't really know how much he'll be that good, and perhaps I'm a bit overrated him. But I really do believe that if Kvaratskhelia does ball out, he could be PSG's best player. I think he's better than. I think what he's done at Napoli has been way better than what Barcolo's done, and he's done more than Dembele. He's achieved the most of PSG front line. It's just the problem is obviously the players have played more at PSG than him, so obviously you have to kind of build himself. But I do believe at his max potential, he can be a great player. Next up is Omar Marmoush. A fantastic player. I rate him very highly at Frankfurt. I thought he was fantastic. I think he was amazing there. And it's a shame that he's gone to Manchester City because now he won't be able to play that striker position because obviously, as good as he is, he's not as good as Holland. Holland is still superior to him with all due respect. So I'm going to be interested to see what Marmoush is going to be doing. And we're obviously going to see Marmoush play as a winger at Manchester City. We won't see him play as a striker. So I feel like this could be a great one, but it's really hard to say because I'm not really sure how he's gonna be. So you know what? I'm gonna put him in the great tier from now, just because I feel like he has a lot of potential and I think he can be very good. Um, I'm gonna put Kavar ahead of him because I do expect Kavar to play more games, and I do think Kavar will ball out more and Uber Eats compared to the EPL because let's be real, Uber Eats league is a lot easier than EPL. I think we can all agree with that. So I am going to say that, but I do think Marmoush could be very good. Next up is Kusino. I think this guy is a fantastic defender. What a steal Manchester City got from RC Lons, and he is such a young defender at 20 years old. He is one of the best young defenders out there in Asia, and I just think it's a fantastic. The only problem I have with the sign is that I think he made the move a bit too early. I think he made the move a bit too early, and let's be real, guys. He probably won't be a starter at Manchester City. He's probably going to be a squad player. I think Stones, I think Diaz, even Akanji, I think will get more game time ahead of him. And he's only here because Manchester City are going through an injury crisis right now at the moment, especially the defense. So I think he's going to be good in that sense. And he had a really bad debut, guys, against Chelsea, where he gave away a goal in like 3 minutes. I mean, that's just horrendous. So I do feel like he will come good in the great in the future. But for right now, I can't put him in the great because I don't expect him to be much. I expect to be a squad player, and so that for that reason, I'm putting him in the good tier. But I think he can eventually when like I think Ruben Diaz and Akanji retire, leave Manchester City, then I think he could potentially be a great. But I don't see them leaving or in City anytime soon. Maybe like the next 2 or 3 years. And so yeah. Next up is Marcus Rashford. Now this is an interesting one, guys, because I do believe Rashford is a very hot and cold player. Because the thing with Marcus Rashford is that we all know he's a good player. He's just never been consistent for the entire duration of the season. He's always had some good lapses here or there. And the thing with Rashford is that I could honestly, this might seem crazy to say, guys. I think he could either be a huge success for Villa or a huge flop. I don't see anything in between. And I think for me personally, I think Rashford can be really good because we know Aston Villa have two competitions this season, obviously the Premier League and the Champions League. And obviously this season they have not been as good as compared to last season because I think they increased the amount of games. And remember, guys, they let their player Duran go to Al Nassr. We'll talk about him when we get there. And so now with Rashford coming in, he can now potentially be the backup to Watkins. And let's be real, Watkins has not as been as good as last season. So you can maybe make an argument he could start over Watkins. But the thing with Rashford is just that is he going to do well here? Um, it's hard to say, guys. It's hard to say. For right now, I'm gonna say good for now because I do think he'll be good, but I don't think he'll be good enough to the point where Villa will consider purchasing him. I think he'll be good for like good spell, like what I said earlier with Purple Patch, but I don't think he'll be good for the duration of the season. So for that reason, that's why I can't put him in the great tier because he will be as I don't think he'll be that amazing. But I will say this though, guys, if he has a good form for the rest of the season and like good 6 months and scores goals on a regular basis, oh, then he will easily be great. It's just that there's not enough evidence for me to suggest that he's gonna be a great, so which is why I put him in the good tier. And I'll put Rashford above Kusanov, just because I do think Rashford will play more. Okay, next up is Santiago Jimenez. Guys, this is a huge transfer for Mexican fans. And Mexican fans, you guys should be happy he made the move because this is quite possibly one of the biggest moves a Mexican player can make from Feyenoord to Milan. Milan is one of the biggest teams in Italy. It is one of the biggest teams in Serie A. And I know they're not as big worldwide as they used to be, but they're still a big club in the world. They still have a lot of heritage. I mean, they got 7 Champions League for crying out loud. And this is a team that's got a lot of history. And the thing with Milan is that they finally got a striker replacement for Olivier Giroud. Because I'm sorry, Morata was never really it. He was only going to be here for short term. And it's good to see that Milan have already got rid of Morata, even though he's only been here for 6 months. They shipped him off and they shipped him off to Galatasaray. And now they got Jimenez on a permanent deal. Now, here's the thing, guys. I don't think Jimenez is as good as people make him out to be because we also see him for the Mexico national team. He's been a flop so far. The only thing he's done for Mexico is score that goal in the Gold Cup final against Panama, which was 2023. And let's be real, guys, it's a Gold Cup. It's not really taken that seriously. And at the Copa America, he failed to score a single goal in 3 games. So my thing is that for Jimenez in particular, how good is he really, or is it just Eredivisie tax? Because we all know how good players can be in these weak leagues, but when they make the big move to big leagues, they're not as good. Look at Felix, for instance. Look at what is it called? Darwin Nunes, for instance. Like these kind of players, they have not been as good. So is Santiago Jimenez going to be one of those kind of players? Now, keep in mind he's been good in the Champions League, had a great game against Bayern, so maybe he won't be, but we'll have to see, guys. We'll have to see. For right now, guys, I'm gonna put him in the good tier. I can't put him in the great because I don't think he's gonna be that amazing. Um, but I do feel like he's gonna be good, and I do feel like he's gonna be better than Rashford. I do feel like he's better than Rashford, so I do think there's potential there, and so yeah, I'm gonna put him in the good. Next up is Diogo Carlos to Fenerbahce. Good signing for Fenerbahce. Fenerbahce needed some center back depth because oh my geez, every time I watch Fenerbahce in the Europa League, their defense is horrendous, guys. Their defense is atrocious, and so I think that's a good signing for them to get some center back depth. Um, and so yeah, I think it's a good signing. Although like I said, I don't think Diego Carlos will be that great because he is kind of up there in age. I believe he's like 30 plus. I believe last time I checked. So I don't think he'll be that great. So which is why I'm going to put him in the good tier. And I think I'll probably put him in above. I think I'll probably put him in above. I think I'll put Santi Jimenez above, and I think I'll put him above Rashford. I'll put Diego Carlos because I do think he'll be good. Next up, it is Donya Malin to Aston Villa. Now, this I believe is a permanent deal. So Rashford one's a loan deal. This is a permanent deal. So this is gonna be interesting, guys. I'll be honest with you. I never really rated Malin like that highly. I think Malin for me is just an average player at best. He's a good, decent squad player. I don't think he's that great. So I'm gonna put him probably towards the bottom. I think Rashford is actually better than him when on form. But yeah, I mean, Malin, he's a good squad player to have, I suppose. He'll probably be off the bench kind of player and score some goals off the bench, but I don't really imagine him starting much, so I'll probably put him in that tier. Next up is Kyle Walker. This is another one that I think could be it's another It's not a good sign for Milan, honestly. I'm not really too sure why they got him. He's up there in age. I think he's like 32 years old, and I don't know why Milan got him as the EPL reject kind of in a way. He is a good right back, and he's certainly better than Emerson Royale and probably Calabria. But I don't think he was going to be that good for the short term. And guys, he's up there in age, so I'm actually not really too sure about this one. I think might need to put a new tier, guys. Let's actually put a new tier in that. Um, we'll put the at just average. I think he's going to be average, honestly. I think he's going to be average. I think he's going to be average for this one. You know what? I'll put Muller in the average category. Average tier. We'll put him there. I'll put him there in that average tier. I should have probably done this beginning thing, but I just felt we need to put an average tier. Okay, next up it is Namor. Namor, guys. Namor. You guys know I love Neymar. Neymar is one of my favorite players of all time. I've been on record in saying this, and that he is such an amazing player. His dribbling, his close control, his goal scoring ability is unmatched, and I just think he's a fantastic player. Now the thing is, he's going to Santos, and let's be real, guys. This is more of an home. This is more of an sentimental move, right? Because obviously, for those that don't know, Santos was the first team he came out through, and we all know what he did at Santos was fantastic. How good he's going to be at Santos at this age. And the thing with Neymar is that we just need to see him play football regularly because obviously at Al Hilal he barely played. He was basically injured for majority of the time. I think he only played like 40 minutes, which is crazy. So yeah, I think for Neymar, let's just see. I just want him to get regular game time and just be there for the World Cup because that's what Neymar's dream is, that I can be fit for the World Cup. And I think Neymar knows that him at Santos is probably the perfect thing to have before the World Cup. So I'm gonna split here for this one, guys. I'm thinking about putting either good or great. Um, See, put it this way, guys. If I was going just emotions, I'd probably put in great. But if I was going logically speaking, I'll probably put in good. Um, you know what? Put it this way. I made it mine. I'm gonna put in the top of good tier. I was gonna put him in great. You know what? Let's put him in great. I'll put him in great. I'll just put him in the very borderline of great because I do think he'll be really good, but I don't know how good he's going to be, so I'm going to put him in great for now. Next up it is Nico Gonzalez to Manchester City. Manchester City have finally got their DM, but is he the guy to be their DM? Because I'll be honest with you guys, I've not been too convinced with Nico Gonzalez. Obviously, he was a Barca reject. He went to Porto. He had a good stint at Porto, then he just left. So, and Manchester City paid 60 million for him. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I feel like for me, um, I don't see him being that good for Manchester City. I don't think he's as good as Rodri. And I don't think even when Rodri's back, I still feel like Rodri will start over him. And I don't even think Nico Gonzalez will get much game time, to be honest with you guys. I honestly feel like Pep just got him in just because he needed someone at this rate. Like, okay, I'll just get someone. But then I think when the summer comes around, they're going to find a big player, and I think he will just be eventually be discarded. So honestly, I'm going to put Nico Gonzalez. Seem crazy to say. I'm going to put him in the average category. I think he's just going to makeshift here. I don't think he's as good purpose, and I think he's just there for the numbers' sake. And then once the summer rolls around, I think Pep will actually go out and get a really good DM. But on the contrary, though, as much as I'm saying this, though, he could be very good, guys. He could be very good, but I just haven't seen much of him, and I don't think he's that good. So I'm gonna put him in the average tier. Next up is Dorgo, guys. Dorgo to Manchester. Now, I think for me, this has the potential to be one of the best signs this month because Manchester United needed a left back for quite some time because obviously Luke Shaw is injury prone, Malacia is also injury prone, and I do believe if Dorgo can fill in perfectly, because I do think he's one of the best left backs in Serie A for Lecce, I think he'd be a fantastic one. I honestly think he could be one of the best signs. But the problem is, it's Manchester United. We all know Manchester United, they don't have a good track record of signings. Most of their signings recent years have been flops. So, um, honestly, I'm gonna put in great for now, but I can't put in the best because it's Manchester United today. So I'm gonna put him in the great. And the final player we got it is John Duran, and for me, I think it's an amazing sign for Al Nassr. I think it's an amazing sign to get him at that age, at 21 years old, is amazing. And I do feel like he's going to be very good there at Al Nassr. And then after a few years, he's going to go back to Europe. And, I think that's what's going to happen because I don't see Duran being there for the rest of his career at Saudi Arabia. Now, I will say this though: if Duran if does the rest of his career in Saudi Arabia, we're gonna have that's gonna be embarrassing. So I expect him to maybe like do like 3 or 4 years and then come back to Europe and then start balling out for whatever team. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens, guys. But there you guys have it, man. That's my transfers ranking, the best transfers this month. I want to know what you guys think in the comments below, guys. Do you guys agree with me? Disagree with me? Let me know all of that in the comments below, guys. Remember, guys, to like and subscribe, and peace out.